Hey BCs, you know what time it is. It is the Poisonous Daily, and today is an awesome show. We are actually live, and today I have an amazing guest. I have Austin. Oh, why did I say Austin? I don't know why. August. Oh my God, here we go again. All right, I have August Aguilar from Stranger Film Studios, and he is our amazing guest. And we are going to find out so much. So, BC's welcome, August. I had a moment. I said,
That's okay.
I don't even
We
know
all have
why.
moments.
I don't even know why I said Austin. And I was like, I can't forget your name because your name is my birth month.
It's a good month, you know. But to be fair, my whole life I've had the mistaken my name for Austin for some reason. So I'm so used to it. It's kind of just like, yeah, no, it's all right.
Nah, it just came out of nowhere.
All good.
So
Yeah.
I promise I will not treat this like Miss Universe, Miss America questions because I'm known for my difficult questions. But
Okay.
your dad says you're the better interviewer, by the way.
Uh, yeah, I guess I might be a little bit more articulate sometimes.
So obviously we have to start with the origin story for you and Stranger Film Studios. So like what was that moment you realized filmmaking wasn't just a passion but your calling?
Yeah, so well thanks again. Well, thank you first of all for having me on the show. I appreciate
First.
that. And very nice meeting you tonight. So with that said, yeah, my name's August Aguilar with Strange Film Studios. I kind of had a long history with filmmaking in general, just to kind of give a context, which is basically like I've always had a passion for filmmaking, I believe, especially movies. When I was younger, I some of my earliest memories were
For
like
filmmaking, I believe.
holding with the my mom's like camera and making like homemade videos essentially, and then I was doing like little films with my brother and sister, and I would do like little shorts with friends in the neighborhood, things like that. Um, when I got to school and when I was older and I started there was like a lot of film classes that were available to me. So I was just kind of like naturally curious about that. It wasn't really until I was in college they had a lot of film um programs and studies and screenwriting classes and just things like that in general. So I took all of that. I majored in mass communications and broadcasting, and the film stuff was pretty much my elective. But that's really where I learned how to write screenplays, edit, direct and audio and everything, all the like the basic foundations of filmmaking. And I kind of was like, oh, you can actually make a movie. That's pretty cool. Like, I didn't think that was actually possible. I thought it was like had to be this big, Hollywood thing. And because I had to make some films in class, and really, that was kind of like getting the wheels turning. It wasn't until like a couple years later I was working at a local news station here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And by that point, it's been a couple years since school. I had not made a movie since. It was just, life was just kind of took over. And, I thought I had to do other big boy job stuff, and things like that. And um, I I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was totally like on my own, trying to, discovering myself and discovering like the real life and things like that. And in this new city, there was one late night I was editing in the editing bay for the news, and I saw this ad for the Knoxville Horror Film Festival. And I saw that and I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. That'd be really cool if I could actually make a horror film and maybe get into that. I mean, like, I don't know. I just like it was like just one of those random thoughts. Like, it's like a random thing I saw, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that there was even like a thing like that here. That's super cool. What if I did that? So I texted Frank, which is my father, Frank Aguilar, and I texted him and I said, hey, what do you think about making a horror film? And it was like really late at night, like maybe 12:30 or something like that. And he was up at the time. He was like usually like really like up at night real late. So he texted me back right away and was like, Yeah, let's do it. Like, basically, what do I've got some idea, like, what are we thinking? And that's kind of how it started. We just like, we got really excited about this idea to make a horror film. And we started tossing around these ideas and concepts and things like that. And I basically, I used my whole paycheck and I bought all these gear, all this like starter kit gear essentially. And yeah, we basically came up with this idea, which ended up being our very first short film called There's Something Down the Road. And he flew out to Knoxville and we shot it here. And I think it was like a 1 day shoot. And we just ended up yeah, we made this like low budget horror film, and I took the whole summer, I edited it, and it got into the Knoxville Horror Film Festival that fall, and we were just both kind of got super excited, and we were just like, we should do another. And like, and
The
Strange
bug.
Films, yeah, exactly. And Strange Films, the title or the name came up basically with the in like context of the film, because There's Something Down the Road features this like horror, or this villain I should say, like the one of our first like characters that we really came up with, called the Stranger. So I think we were like, how do we present this movie, like what do I put in the credits, like how do we, what's our production name? And I was just like, what about Strange Films, because the Stranger, and that's what I put. And then I got a logo made like a few months later, and then next thing you know, I'm up in Philly a few months later, and I'm shooting the second film, Center City, and it just stopped. It never stopped after that. And here we are. It's been 10 years doing Strange Film Studios, and we've got probably close to 30 films under our belt now. And yeah, that's kind of how it all started, though. Just like the excitement of wanting to make a movie.
That is awesome. Like, I can't even see. This is why your dad said you were the perfect interviewer. You just like answered two of my questions within that. So obviously, school was an influence. Grabbing your mom's camera, like, you were brave, because I don't even think I would ever touch my dad's video camera or like camera. Um, because like my dad taught me photography, and like that was like our bonding moment, the whole photography thing. I did film photography, and then I got into videography and stuff like that. But like, other than that, what do you think, or what would you say your influences were? Like music, culture, or just life experience being a kid and just like, I want to do this.
Well, I'd say like, I'm still finding a lot of inspiration now, where like I'm digging like way back in my life. I'm realizing like a lot of my childhood, a lot of my upcoming, yeah, as a teenager and things like that, with my friend groups, like a lot of those things still are like inspiring me to write new things and want to incorporate things in my films. But I think maybe at the time it was more, I always knew I was a creative type person, because before film, before any of those ideas even came to like fruition, I was a writer. I always loved to write. So like I would write, like I vividly remember having like these like little journals of, these small little journals, but I would be writing stories and stories and stories. And I mean, they look like chicken scratch, and they be like, I remember one story called, Attack of the Giant Chicken or something like that. Like it was like, I mean, I wrote like ridiculous stories, but I wrote like really like, full, fleshed out stories, and not, and short stories. And I would like write fan fiction of my favorite video games, and I would like turn everything into a movie. And it was just like how I thought um creativity was. So I think naturally, between loving movies so much and writing and kind of tapping into this like imagination, there was like something that really spoke to me that didn't really come out till way later in my life. And music especially has been a huge influence on me. I I've always been very musically inclined, I believe. And growing up, that's been like just one of those things that made me, I feel like, tap into that creative energy and things like that. It does help that I've had some really cool people in my life that has encouraged creativity and supported those ideas and things like that. So I think without, if I didn't have any of that, maybe things would have turned out differently. But I think it just naturally, I was always kind of in a realm of curiosity, and had some people that were really curious with me, or at least supported my crazy ideas. And that kind of just led me to the thought of like, well, yeah, all right, let's just see what happens. And now I'm just like, now I'm like, I've really, um, I've really accepted a lot of my, I kind of, I'm in more in tune, I should say, with like a lot of the stuff that has made me as a person, along with the things I like, and both of those combined, like, has taken things to the next level as far as where the juices start going whenever I'm wanting to make something. So, but yeah, I would say definitely movies and writing in general, music, and some good people around me probably got me started.
No, having a great support system or someone that supports creativity is like a big deal, especially with creative children. Like if my parents didn't support like my artistic or creativities, I probably wouldn't be like the little person that I am that I could do like 20 things. Um but let's go to this whole, we know being a creative person, we all have different creative processes. So like how would you define your signature style or like your process?
um, well, I mean, these days for sure, I really have tapped into, I believe, like the surrealism of life and characters, and like moments. Like, I really love to see a moment breathe. I really, there's I love being like kind of raw and up close and personal, behind the camera, when we're trying to tell a story. So it's I think there is more of a, uh just trying to touch the grass a little bit, and be in tune with, like, how do I take this imagination and kind of, you know, showcase it in a way where it could happen in real life, in a way, I guess. And I think some of that just kind of keeps me keeps me motivated to try to tell these stories, or showcase a character of, with a lens that maybe someone wouldn't think of, or go with the beats of or through a perspective. There's a lot of perspective I would like to share, through characters and whatnot. Um, and I forgot the tail end of your question, so that I'm trying to trying to think of what
Like
that was.
your
But
the process, like the
the
process you go
process, yeah, the process is more like, I don't know. I mean, definitely movies still inspire me. Like, honestly, like, I'm still catching up on a lot of movies that are kind of like critically acclaimed, have been known for a long time. It's like iconic films. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I'm still catching up on a lot of that stuff, throughout my years recently, and still today. But when I do watch a movie that is like, the cinematography is breathtaking, or the dialogue, the screenplay is breathtaking, the directing is breathtaking, I'm just like taking notes in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh man.
this is something I want to recreate. This is something I want to do. So movies are probably like the biggest, like, as far as homework goes. It's still one of the best assignments I can possibly have to keep me inspired. And then I would say my other process is just kind of, well, I don't know. I guess I used to be super, like, feel like I had to do something right away about it. So I'd like write and try to make something happen right away. But now I just kind of like, I like to marinate on things, and yeah, pass it around and whatnot. But I don't know. The process, it's kind of hard to explain because I don't really have a quote unquote process. It's just more of like, I have ideas and I write a lot of ideas down. And some of those ideas will be one sentence. Some of those ideas will be 3, 4 pages, a paragraph, or like just even like a dialogue line. I thought I've got like 8 journals of just different ideas of just all over the place. And then I'm like, hey, I'll come back to this, or this is good. This is good. I'll work over 2 weeks. I'm like, so it's just one of those things where it's like the process is kind of my manic creativity flowing, and I have to kind of channel it somewhere. And even if it's just writing down the simple idea, at least I know it's there. And sometimes I'll write full scripts. I'll let them sit. Don't come back to them till way later, or it's something I want to still do later on. But I just kind of let my creativity. I have to channel it somewhere, whether it's talking about it on a podcast, or um, writing it down, or actually creating something. So it's kind of a you know, long-winded answer of just like, I don't know. I'm just kind
Listen,
of
you're
doing it.
better than me. You write your stuff down. I'll have like 30 freaking ideas in my
Oh
head and
yeah.
I I don't even get a chance to breathe or even get a chance to write it down. My new thing now is as soon as an idea pops into my head, I'm starting to write them down in like my notes on my phone.
Mhm.
So like that was actually I give it to you. You have how many journals? Like I don't even want to know. I don't even get a chance to write. So I know this happens a lot, whether it's with film, whether it's with music, whether it's the whole creative perspective. Like, how do you approach your balance of originality with the audience's perspective? Because a lot of creative people lose what they're known for in their creativity because they're too busy focused on like I can't do it this way or I don't want to do it this way because I'm worried
Mm,
about what the audience is going to think.
mhm.
So how do you balance that?
Well, I think it helps I haven't seen a ton of movies that that are, like, iconic, you know? Like, I mean, like, I have, I'm catching up, and I've seen I can talk shop all day about movies, but, you know, there are certain, like just for example, there are certain, like, films that maybe one would say like Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead or something like that. You know, it's just like, well, he has a very distinct kind of style when it comes to shooting, where the camera goes, how things move, and things like that. You know, if I was doing that on my set, it would be pure coincidental, probably like more accidental. Maybe I'm just like, you know, I kind of because I do things like you like our sets are really loose and really fun. So like because we're open to ideas like left and right, whether it's from the cast member or the crew member or just whoever. We're open to like hearing what anyone has to maybe say about, you know, what could possibly help benefit the scene or benefit the character. So and sometimes, you know, especially because if I don't know, just because I've done this so many times in Philly where I don't really know what the location looks like until I get there. So I'm kind of just winging it as I go. And you know, I just kind of come up with random shots ideas or random things ideas, you know, like in the moment. So and not every production, because we've been doing a lot. We've been more moving with the DP route in the last few years, but for most of our productions, I was always the DP and the director, so I would be shooting and directing at the same time. So sometimes my camera is going all over the place because I'm just kind of in tune with what my instinct is telling me. So with that said, a lot of the times, if there's like maybe an accidental reference to like you know, a shot or something or an idea that was in our movie that was maybe similar to something that something in another movie. It's really is just kind of more coincidence or accidental because I'm like, I didn't know. I don't mean to. So it's just kind of like, because I think like really what sets us apart as far as like our stories go, that maybe are trying to keep in mind, at least when it comes to approaching a new character or new story, is that we are trying to be very original with how we tell it, and we are trying to be very original with what's going on in the story. So even if we're telling a story about, you know, the evil priest or like the evil, you know, or a serial killer. Like, you know, my film He Comes to Kill is a slasher film, and I definitely took notes from John Carpenter's Halloween. I mean, he's one of my all-time favorite directors, along with one of my all-time favorite films. Over there is right there.
Oh, we
But
spot Mike from a mile away.
yeah. But I was like, you know, how do I make Stanley Elk different than Michael Myers? You know, like
Yeah.
how do I pay homage to that film, but totally do my own thing, you know? Because I was like, I don't want to just like do a copy paste of anything, and I don't want audiences to think that either or anything that we got going on. I want to always do something very original, and I think with between me and Frank, we do a good job of like balancing originality along with quirkiness and something that like even if you're not like a diehard horror fan, you can still watch our films because we want to be as inviting as we possibly can to anyone. You know, we want to be able to share our films with anybody. So just because we say we make horror films doesn't mean we are necessarily like this giant or like in your face horror like aesthetic. We want to be able to it's inviting enough for any casual viewer to get into it and be like, "Oh, that is a horror movie, but there's a lot of other fun stuff going on here in their own original way that you know, would hopefully invite them to come back for more." So,
No, it's understandable. You see it in your work. Um, it's crazy how all of this is like coming full circle. So I'm a big horror fan. I love my horrors, and I actually made this joke when I was on the podcast with your dad. Like it's always I'm always attracted to anything with a priest, like in horror movies.
Yeah.
Like every horror movie except for Hannibal Lecter and Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger, there's always a priest involved in every horror movie that I love. I don't know, maybe it was because of the exorcism. I
Mhm.
don't know. I love all those type of movies. And then I ended up seeing your guys' movies some time ago because my husband is also a horror fan, but he's more the zombie person. I'm more
Mhm.
the paranormal um person, and I'm always the one that will be there, be like, don't walk in there. Don't walk in there, like don't touch that. Walk away. But he's always into the indie film scene. I don't get to watch movies the way I used to. I think I still need to catch up on like a couple of movies that I have yet to see, and they came out like 2 or 3 years ago. Like
Mhm.
I finally, what movie came out? Like I don't know. When you have kids, it's kind of hard to
Oh,
like.
yeah. No, I know. I'm averaging maybe 1 or 2 movies a
I'll
week.
I'll see like the kid movies before I even see like
Right.
something I want to see.
Yeah, I just saw a Mario movie in theaters. I'm
I
like
haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it
it's
yet. You
alright, it's
beat
pretty good.
me, you beat me. Like, we finally saw Zootopia,
There you
like,
go. Yeah.
but I think I was more excited to see Zootopia than the kids. Um, but, like, these horror movies, there's so many, and then
Yeah.
with the indie industry growing the way they have and the rise of digital platforms and the whole game studios and so on and so forth, like, what challenges do you think you're facing now with all this?
Yeah, I mean, you made a great point there. There's the horror scene in general, it's amazing. It's really cool. I mean, the horror community is incredible. Honestly, it's one of the best like film communities I think is out there. I've been to plenty of horror conventions, and making horror films for this long now, I've been around enough fans and people who appreciate that genre. They're some of the most nicest, welcoming people out there. Um, and they want more. They're wanting every kind of horror film that comes out, whether it's a Hollywood blockbuster or an indie, or a streaming exclusive, anything. A lot of people are very forgiving in horror because the cheaper the better. People like the campy, people like the low budget, people like all that stuff. So no matter what kind of horror film you're making, there is definitely someone who's going to love it. So it's but with that said, it is a very um kind of oversaturated market right now. It's very oversaturated in general as far as like being an indie filmmaker, not even just horror. It's there anybody can make a film now, with their film or their phone, I'm sorry, with basic small indie gear, like low budget cameras, anything can make a movie. You can make a movie with by any means. So in return, there's a lot more filmmakers out there. Now, of course, you're going to have like those waves of quality and things like that goes into that. But I think the challenge is kind of just like, okay, well, how do we stand out? I mean, if we've been pushing films for 10 years now, and Strange Films we've had a great so far. It's been a really interesting, exciting journey, and there's still things I'm learning. We've had some setbacks. We've had some really great strides forward. But there's always like kind of like this just like obvious thing in the air. It's like, well, okay. Like what are we gonna do about it? Like who do we need to show this to get to the right, you know, mass audience appeal? How do we market this to so, we're on a bloody disgusting headline or something like that, getting it exclusively to Shutter or something like that. How do we do that? And I don't know. I don't know. And it's one of those things where it's like I don't know. There's a I don't know I don't even know if there's a method or a formula or if it is by the people you know, because we just keep hearing these stories about, made it for $2,000, shot it in 10 days, with three crew members, and now it's picked up by Sundance or something like that. Or you see like, you see all these kind of crazy, inspiring stories,
And you're
but
like, "What's the method to the madness?"
yeah,
Like,
what is it?
"I
Like, how
get
do I
it." Like,
well,
"What's
I
up?"
mean, I've been doing stuff, what do you like, so I don't know, and it's just one of those kind of, like, give and take things where, well, you don't wanna doubt yourself down because, obviously for me, there's, like, a love for the passion more than anything, so it's kinda like, I don't want the passion to turn against me at some point because I'm not, like, on Shutter or in a theater or something like that. I don't want it to be like, well, I don't want those insecurities to come out and diminish my passion for making movies, but I also want to still give it the best I got because I mean, I only have one life and one chance to do what I love, and this is what I love. So it's like I want to be able to still push out a movie and be like, all right, well, who wants to watch? Where can I market it? How can I screen it? How can I do this? It's so there's it's a challenge because again, there's just so many people doing movies right now. You got great people out there, great filmmakers out there who have great branding behind them, who have great like, cinematography or a great talent behind it, that helps push them up. And then you have like, the underdogs who are just really making cool films, but they're just not being seen. And that's a tough way to navigate because you kind of go through those ups and downs of inspired but defeated. And it's interesting to be in the world of filmmaking, especially these days, because there's just so much stuff out there. And I don't know. It just seems like it's not. It seems like it's never like I know there's like a big thing right now with Hollywood where it's like people are moving away from Hollywood. They want more independent stuff and things like that, which is cool. Um, but when the independent feels like it's like as big as Hollywood, you're kind of like, all right, well, how do what do I do
How do
now?
I deal with
Yeah,
this?
how do I still knock on the door?
"Hey, I've been here for a while. What's going
Yeah.
on?"
Hey, I promise if you just give me like even 20 grand, I can break you a really cool movie.
Like, listen, I sometimes I feel like when I get a chance to sit down and watch a movie, it's like, "Damn, I miss this." Like, I wanna go back to school because, like, my degree was broadcasting, and, like, my first degree was in broadcasting technology and management, so and then my minor was editing and photography, and then, like, when I went to NYU, it was, basically how the media affects human behavior. I'm a
Mhm.
sociology major. And I had to sit there and watch movies all the time. People be like, "You're not doing your." I remember my mom came in one time and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I paused the movie. I was like, "I'm doing homework." She goes, "You're watching a movie," and I like had to pull up the paper and see. You see the notes?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my film classes, we had to do the same thing. I mean, the first time I watched, Blue Velvet and Drive, and I think there was like Prestige, and I mean, just like a lot of like my film teacher at the time, he had a very a strong selection of films that just covered anything from film aesthetic wise, from lighting to screenplays to directing or whatever it was, and so like I do like I still do it now because watching a movie now is never the same as I used to as a kid. I'm always looking at it as a artist now. I'm like always looking at the shots, always looking at the pacing, always looking at the editing and things like that. So there is it is still kind of like I said earlier, it's one of the best homeworks assignments now that I can have because the movies are still teaching me numerous things, whether it's on a technical value or just a creative value.
No, it is, and it's crazy. And I like my husband watches more indie films than I do, and I could honestly like it's him that gets me to sit down. And honestly, I would have never experienced your guys' film. And then when I got on a podcast, like when I got asked to do the podcast and your dad was mentioned, and I was like, I know that film. I was like, shit, I saw that with my husband because I'm telling you, so he has this zombie thing. I really don't like zombies. I really don't care for them because I know they're freaking real. So I just like I don't want to picture it. I don't want to see it. I wasn't a big Walking Dead fan. Like
Okay.
I'm like one of those. Give me vampires, give me witches, give
Sure.
me demonic possessions, whatever. Zombies I really can't do. Most I've done was Resident Evil. And that was because I was a gamer. You know,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
game. And I happened to be like I was doing 20,000 things and then like I saw everything that's going on and I sat down and I watched a movie and I was like, "Oh shit, this shit is cool." I was like you could relate and it's like you see these characters in The Gifted and you're like, "Oh shit, this is like a real mom and daughter." You
Mhm.
know, that's some shit that could actually pop off with a neighbor. Like
Right.
and then here comes the crazy ass priest. I'm like, "Bro, it,
Yeah.
but it's relatable and that's what attracts a lot of people like and people fail to realize that like you mentioned Blue Velvet and it's funny the person that was involved in the makeup and stuff with that I'm actually a big fan of and I got to meet him thanks to Eric at Black Ink but like one of my favorite directors is Del Toro. When I sit down and watch a Del Toro movie, I'm just like, like
Mhm.
you can't go wrong. The same thing with Steven Spielberg.
Mhm.
That's another thing. But then we see when things like growing up and seeing them at their best, and then you'll get a film, and it's like, wait, this is not a Spielberg. This is hold up, no. Kind of movement. So it's those moments and now with the way technology is done and now the digital sound stages and now this whole AI thing, it's like you see movies or like my husband was watching this crazy ass shark movie and I'm looking at it. I was like, sharks don't do that. Like, but then I'm a big shark enthusiast.
Yeah, right.
Like I feel offended and I'm like, no, no, wait, hold up. This is not natural behavior. Kind of. And then it looks so bad. But then you'll look at films from the 90s and the 80s and all these like American Psycho, Halloween, Jason, Freddy Krueger before they ruined Freddy Krueger. Like these things and now you'll see them now and it's like I'd rather watch the movie from the 90s and 80s than watch it
Yeah,
now.
for sure. Well, there's if you watch enough movies and you go back far enough too, you see the trend, like the style of movie making like that was going on. I mean, so I'm a big fan of the 40s and 50s and 60s as far as films go. And
You
I'm
go way back.
yeah, I like to really watch a lot of those old classics because it reminds me of what simple filmmaking was. There's
Mhm.
a pureness to it. It's ahead of its time. That's like seriously like it's incredible to watch. Like Billy Wilder is one of my all-time favorite directors, and he made a lot of movies in the 40s and 50s. And um, when you watch those movies, there's like this certain unique original charm that is like it's just pure authentic um skill when it comes to writing, when it comes to the characters and the dialogue, how they deliver. Like it almost feels like acting is like when acting was almost at its purest in a moment, in films where they were at their purest. It's just kind of like this really simple but yet elegant way of doing everything. And I mean, Wizard of Oz is one of my all-time favorite films, and it's just one of those things where that was way ahead of its time. There's no way. I mean, like it's just like it's incredible. So like some of these movies, when you look at the basic foundation of filmmaking, it is there's a formula there. And it was already shown to us years, decades and decades and decades ago. It was just when technology started, ramping up, obviously films started getting a little bit more eccentric and a little bit more wild. Acting started getting a little better and things like that. Actors are learning from other actors, of course. So the 70s and 80s start really kind of going into some weird territory, some great, great territories, but like, they're going darker. They're going a little bit more exploitive on certain themes. And like obviously when technology and CGI starts going around, um, we're creating this really huge, amazing world building parts to it now. So the 90s, when you start going in that early, even the 90s and early 2000s, everything still kind of feels like a little bit of like pureness to it. It still feels like a little like this is what filmmaking is. Even if the CGI is bad, it's fun, things like that. But now 2010s were great. It was a great era because that's when I think storytelling started becoming like super, super um I mean, like, we've always had great storytelling, but 2010s really kinda gave this artistic edge to it, I think, with storytelling and directing, and so, you got a lot of great, great, great movies out there, like, There Will Be Blood or something like that, No Country for Old Men, those are, like, fantastic films. You've got, like, some really great kinda art house indie style films, but on a mass scale, but now you still, like you said, with technology being as it is and AI being a thing, first of all, we don't really even we can I'm still getting faked out by AI. And, with like what I was thinking, oh, that looks really cool. And then I find out it's AI. I'm like, damn, that sucks. Like, it's like, I just saw that Marvel laid off their whole visual effects team. And they're like, yeah, we're leaning into AI. And it's like, that sucks, dude. Like that
I
really,
don't
really
think
sucks.
that's
It's
gonna
like,
be a smart move from
I
I'm
don't think
a
so either.
huge Marvel fan.
Yeah.
I well, like, right now, like, I had to take out my DJ equipment, so, like, all my Funko Pops, my
Oh,
stuff
cool.
are, like, all missing, like, right now, it's just Maleficent back here. Um, I don't think that's a good move. I don't think it's a good move because I don't know, was it Spider-Man when Fox still owned it that they did the whole CGI thing and it was like this whole battle scene with one of the villains and it was just like, no, we're not doing I
Hmm.
can't watch this. And I don't know if this happens to you, but being that, like, I've studied film, I know how to look at things, like, there's times where I sit things that I can't watch a movie anymore, like, I lose interest once I see something that doesn't align with it. Like, my son became a Ninja Turtle fan. I was I was happy because 'cause I'm a Ninja Turtle fan,
Hmm.
right? And then my son's like, "Oh, mom, watch this Ninja Turtle with me," and I looked at the damn turtles, and I was like,
Oh, the newer
"These
ones.
are not
Yeah.
the turtles."
Hmm.
What turtles are these? He's like, "No, those are the Ninja Turtles, mom." I'm like, "They look like crackheads." Like, no offense. They look like crackhead I was like then I literally sat my kid down and made him watch
Yeah.
the first Ninja Turtle movie, and I'm like, "Here, these are your turtles."
Yeah, I guess what I'm afraid of is that maybe from like the 2010s and previous, especially the 90s, 80s, 40s, 50s for sure, like all these amazing decades of films. Um, I don't want it to become like a lost art
Mhm.
because technology and AI or people who want to just make
I
films
feel like it's
centered
lazy.
around it. Like, yeah, I don't want it to become a lost art. I want there to still be thankfully, I think we're still kind of like in a generation of filmmakers and stuff like that who have grew up with all that pure filmmaking stuff. So like we're gonna be in that for a while, but I don't want, 40 years from now to be like films are just computer generated essentially.
Regenerated.
It's just like, well, because like I just saw the thing with Val Kilmer where, he passed away and now he's a whole AI guy in a movie. And I'm like, ah, dude, I know the family signed off on that, but still just like, is that what we're gonna be? Is that what we're gonna do with like
Listen,
actors and stuff? Like, so the industry is gonna go a whole other way, and it's just like when you have all these, like again, like losing that pureness of creating a film, having people on set and doing all these things, building things practically, building foundations and then, I just now it's just a click of some buttons and make it all computer generated. And it's like, oh boy, where are we going? Like where are we going?
no, and I agree, like, I feel like it doesn't feel organic.
Hmm.
Like, when we see a film or we hear something, it it catches on or people become fans because they're able to relate to it somehow, some way, and it feels natural. Like, yeah, it was great seeing Princess Leia in a digital thing, or Stan Lee somehow make an appearance as an AI robotic thing. Yeah, it's good. It's good for that nostalgia, like to pay homage to these amazing characters or actors at some point. When they did Black Panther Forever, like they incorporated it in a way that it still feels organic,
Mhm.
like in that sense. And I feel like, you know, to me, anytime an artist, whether it's a director like you, or writer like you, or a graphic artist, or a music artist, or a producer, or something, some creative being, every time they create, this is just my opinion, every time they create something and they put it out there, they're giving a piece of their soul.
Mhm.
And that's what makes everybody relate to them somehow, some way. And I feel like, yeah, it's cool that we have these things, but one, to me, it's like laziness, because all you're doing is a couple of fingers. And then, like, I swear to God, I feel like my parents every time he said, "What are you gonna do if the power goes out?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you gonna be able to do it?" Like,
Mhm.
I swear to God, now I just swear. I be making comments, I'd be like, "Damn, um, and it's one of those things, and I feel like you lose the soul, you lose the organicness, you lose everything that makes it relatable to a film. We have some cartoons that were able to relate, even though it's animated. There was still some kind of, because of the voices. It was a person putting a piece of them into it, and it's just like, I don't know how I would feel if, like, I haven't even seen the film. You mentioned that they did that. Like, I don't know how I would feel about that, because I know them in person, that once I see something and something, like, doesn't seem right, or, like, it kinda cuts me off, I'm like, "I can't watch this no more."
Mhm.
I just click. Like, I think I started watching I hate live actions. I
Oh,
hate
yeah.
certain live actions, okay? I attempted to watch Disney's live action of The Lion King. Bro, not even 20 seconds. I was like, click, can't do this. Sorry.
Mhm.
As big as a Disney fan I am, I said, click, nope, I can't do this. Same thing with the Freddy Cougar, when they messed up Freddy Cougar.
Mm.
Started watching it. I was like, nope, bye. I'm out. Like, and I feel like that's what's going on. So now, like, this whole thing, like, you and your dad are really close. You guys are partners in this. You even said it, like, you called him, "Hey, you wanna do a movie?" And he was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I don't even think I could do that with my parents. Like, I love my parents to death, and they'll probably be on the board and be, like, my cheerleaders and stuff like that, but, like, my parents are old school, they'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So how does that work with you guys? And you guys work amazing together, and
yeah,
you've created some amazing projects.
we do. I'm very grateful for the experience with Frank. I mean, I it's just one of those things that I feel like part of it's making up for lost time. We didn't spend time together growing up, really. I mean, we did when I visited him and stuff like that. But there's like, I really didn't get to start hanging out with him to a point where I was getting to know him a lot until I was like 18, when I was visiting Philly by myself and things like that. So there's always been like this natural like kind of curiosity of wanting to spend time with him and things like that as I got older. And when I did that, whenever I was older, like old enough, we became like really close. We started kind of really being able to relate like what we like with each other, like who we are as people, I guess, and things like that. So movies were always, I'd say movies and video games were always like the biggest thing that me and him kind of bonded on. So it kind of was just natural whenever it happened with the idea of like, hey, you want to make a movie? He was a big like, and he's a super like horror fan. Like he grew up old school, so he's watched a ton of horror films from the 70s and 80s, and and he has a lot more of stuff that I would say he probably even tries to reference in our film sometimes that I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, like it's just like I like he'll still show me movies that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm catching up on, and things like that. So when we started working together, it was one of those things like excitement in the air, first of all, of us hanging out. And then, okay, let's make a horror film. And what do you like? What do I like? And putting those ideas together. And then, what we got out of that experience was like really just like a beautiful bonding experience all together. It was just like one of these things where we had such a good time. We didn't want it to end, and we wanted more. So his writing started coming out. Like he always says that I brought out a creative spark in him that he was always too afraid to tap into growing up. He didn't know what to do with. He always had some ideas and things that he wanted to try, but he never could do it, or never knew what to do with it, I guess, and whatnot. So like whenever we started hanging out and working together, like that started coming out, and he got more confident behind that voice. So he started writing his own scripts, and it turns out he's a really good writer. He's a really like he knows how to write some really wild stuff and some really wild characters and things like that. And naturally, I'm a writer too. So because I work here in Knoxville and he works in Philly essentially. So I'll write, produce, and direct down here, and he writes and produces up in Philly. And then whenever a project's ready, I come up there and I direct it. So it's one of those things where it's like we're working both simultaneously at the same time, independently, but at the same time we're like collaborating. So like right now, we've got two projects in the works: Chica, La Salvadora, and TV Land. And TV Land is my own baby down here in Knoxville. It's like Frank doesn't even know what it's about, and he's not going to until it's out. And and Chica, it's one of those things where this has been a journey for the last, I'd say, 3 years, with starting with The Gifted. And his writing has just gotten better and better. He's really investing time into characters and really investing time into, these dynamics and things like that. But working together throughout the 10 years has been really interesting. I mean, it's been awesome. Because he's my dad and I love him, and I love spending the time with him and getting to know him, and especially creatively, it's been really, really cool. But sometimes, because he's old school and I'm kind of new school, and I have my own life and he has his own life, we butt heads, and we get into creative differences sometimes, or we get into little, you know, like
Comes with the
skirmishes on set and
territory.
things like that, just because it's like, man, like, it's a natural thing to happen to anybody, especially with family, but it just happens. And so there's some challenges. You take out the personal stuff, it's all great, but personally, sometimes there are challenges that arise. But it's nothing like to be like, hold grudges against, or be, make it a bad day. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's just natural. We have our own little spouts, and we hash it out. I tell him how I feel. I tell me what how he feels. And, but what we're trying to do is really make a movie. And at the end of the day, we're family. So we love each other, and we're here for each other too. But it is an interesting dynamic, I will say. It's one of those things where we do sell that on Strange Films. It's like, it's a father-son company, because it is. We started it together, and we're still rocking and rolling.
I think I like, honestly, I think it's really, really awesome. And I kind of understand where you're coming from, because like the reason why I continued to do pageants was because that's the only time I got to spend with my dad. My dad was law enforcement, he was barely around. So my spending time with him was every time he took off, because I had to travel for a pageant. And I stuck to it. Yeah, I love pageants. I love what I do. I loved performing. I love being on stage and stuff like that. So I kind of understand where you're coming from. And honestly, if I was able to do it, but my dad's so old school. I don't even think like, my dad is very creative. Like, drawing I got from him, photography I got from him. I used to see him. He used to have a video camera and would record stuff like that. But like, when I start getting into the digital phase of things, he was just like, I'm not gonna figure that out. Like, like, I'm old school. Like, he comes around with his dad joke. He goes, "Yeah, I do face to face. That's my FaceTime, face to
Mhm.
face."
Mhm.
I don't do this face. I was like, "Dad, no."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I celebrated when he sent his first text message
Oh,
once.
awesome. Yeah, Frank is still very old school. He prefers to have his meetings in person. I think he just learned how to do emails like 2 or 3 years ago, like it's just one
My
of those
sad
things.
listen, give it to him. Give it to him because my sad dad still doesn't know. He's like, "I don't know that email."
Yeah.
Email my wife or my daughter, and he'll
Yeah.
call me. He's like, "What's your email? Someone's gonna email you." And I'm like,
Right, yeah. Like,
"I
he'll
never
still hit me up about, like, "I gotta do this or this." I'm like, or he's like, "How do you do this? How do you" I'm like, "Dude, it's just this button," or it's literally like it's that's all it is, and he's like, "I don't know how to do it." I'm like, "Oh my god." Yeah, it's just like but,
we gotta love our viejitos.
oh,
They're the
yeah, yeah.
So talking about collaborating, because it's not just collaborating with your dad, being that he's your business partner and who you created your company with, but you collaborate with everybody on set. Like,
Mhm.
what makes that collaboration so apart and so important at Stranger Films? Because like it's not just you and your dad, it's your actors, your staff. Like, how important is it for you guys?
Yeah, it's very, very important. There's a reason why we have, like, kind of like a subgroup with Strange Films. It's called Strange Films Family, and it's because we kind of have this mentality where if we cast you, if we work with you, if we collaborate with you, if we have you on set, if you're helping us out in any way, you're basically becoming a Strange Films family member, which means more it means like so much to us because we're not only just like yeah, like working together to make something, that's cool. But like we're like getting to know you. We're being very personable. We're friends. We're, family. We're things like that. Like we really want to make sure that we do right by people because they lent out an extra hand for us or they stretched out really far for us to help us get to achieve our goals and things like that. And it just becomes not more than just a collaboration. It becomes really a friendship. We want to make sure that we're treating these people right and helping them out. How can we look out for you in the future? Whether it's like we see an opportunity come up. Well, I know that just the person. Here you go. We throw references out there. We get them involved with future projects. We get them involved with bigger events, or if we have like a bigger name or something attached to a project, it's like, hey, you want to be a part of this scene? Whatever. Help out with conventions, anything and everything that we can possibly think of, along with looking out for in the future. So, like um, my buddy Blake Hall, he's like my best friend here. We do a podcast together, and he's helped me out with Strange Films for the last 8 years, I would say. So it's one of those things where it's like I always tell him, I'm like, dude, if I ever make it big, you make it big. You know what I'm saying? Like you are a part of this journey. People who have stuck with us for so long, we want to make sure that we always remember them and always want to help them out or at least acknowledge and things like that too. So, and life happens. We always run into, you know, situations or people like just lose touch or things like that. But for the most part, we do like a great job as far as like keeping up with like people we've worked with even since the beginning of all of Strange Films and to now, and just making sure that they're not just coming on set just to be you know talent or to be like something that we're looking for a production. Please, like we want to be friends here. We want to be family here. We want to continue this relationship. Um, for the foreseeable future because like I want to help support what you do. I want to support what you're involved in, and if I see the right opportunity that I could possibly throw your name out there, I would want to do that as well. Things like that. So it's very important for us to take our collaborations to a personal level to make sure that we are just always grateful and thankful and um just make good memories and good people out of we have so many people in our Strange Films family now, like across the country that we have like really just gotten to know and like still hang out and talk with and like invite to and it's not even if they're on set or helping out like on a project in real time. They're just cheering for us and it's like and we sometimes we'll just chat just to chat, and things like that. So it's I think we just we want to make sure that our sets are always very inviting, friendly, comfortable, no drama, no like, if there's an issue of any sort, well, let's get to the bottom of it before we move any further. Like, how do we resolve this? How do we make things right? What do we need to do? Um, and I think it just shows that when we're on set and afterwards, we always do tend to get a good feedback from people being like, I want to come back to your set. I want to make another movie with you. Like anytime you need me, call me. And
Mhm.
that makes us feel really, really good because that's kind of I don't know. I just feel like it's always just one of those simple things like do right by people, people will be right by you, and I think I really do believe in that. There's no ego involved or anything like that. There's just like just be good people, man. Let's have some fun. Let's make a movie, and I want to have good time, good memories, and afterwards, let's go celebrate, and then and after and all that bonding experience of in between takes, in between, before the set, after the set, all that stuff. That really just goes a long way. Like I have so much good memories of just like hanging out with cast and crew versus being on set doing the takes and stuff like that. So it is important for us to take every collaboration or someone we have on set to a personal level to make sure that we're all like Strange Films family at the end of the day.
No, and it's awesome because like we just announced yesterday that I've just joined the family.
Yay!
And
That's
I'm,
right.
I'm I'm so looking forward to it. Your dad sent me the script. Um and I started hysterically laughing because one of the lines that I have to say is a line that probably comes out of my mouth every so often.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I think this part is just like meant for
Oh,
me.
cool.
So I was just like, yeah, I've said that a couple of times. I've said that a couple of times.
Right on. Yeah.
So I am so looking forward to this project. I'm super excited. I am honored and humbled to be a part of the family. And I just can't wait. And like for me, the irony that this is a horror film. It's like people see me and they're like, "Oh my god, she's glamorous." No, I
Hmm.
am horror. I am
Hmm.
paranoid. Like I am doing UltraCon this weekend with Black Ink, and people are like, "You're into that stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, who's not?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and also, with you coming on set, like, I mean, that's amazing. Like, I'm really excited. I hope you like you'll come to find out, like, when we're working together, it really is a loose environment. Like when you have ideas, I'm gonna be listening. I'm like, and 99% of the time, I'm like, you know what, that rocks. Like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like we're really loose. We like to just like say the script is kind of like an outline, a guideline. Kind of as long as we're hitting the beats of things. Like
Mhm.
we want you to really have a lot of creative control just as much as we're having creative control, and that's what we tell every single person that comes on set. So it does make it a very personal experience for everyone who works with us because it feels like they have a little bit of a say into what's going on here because everyone does. I'm not trying to, no one, me or Frank are in no position to be like, no, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. It's just like, dude, you guys are showing up, you're doing, you're helping us out, and we're going to make this the best thing we possibly can. And we're going to have a good time doing it. And, with the other part of that, which, having many interests, I mean, it's like, that's how we are too. I mean, like, horror is like kind of like our like I guess our selling ticket. We sell horror films out of our brand because people love horror films and we like to make
Listen,
them.
we will. I think horror is that film. Like I think in marketing, it was like the three businesses that you will always be in business: liquor, children, and medical.
Yeah.
Like, you're never gonna go, "Oh, wait, the fourth is death." You're never
Right.
gonna go out of business. And I think horror is one of those things that you just can't stop liking
Yeah. Yeah.
because
And
it's like that human curiosity that we
mhm.
all have.
Mhm.
It hits every dimension, and horror could go sci-fi, horror could go action, horror could even go comedy. They've done that with Scream.
Definitely.
Scary movie. Sorry, I said Scream, but a scary movie.
Well, scary or even Scream's a little quirky though,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
and that's the thing, there's definitely horror comedies out there. There's like there's any like there's all kinds of different genres of horror and like and that's why we like to say strange films is we kind of just label it as like bizarre mostly because just because we like to make horror films doesn't mean we always make horror films. Like I've made drama films, I've made some kind of dark comedies. TV Land right now is a very experimental fantasy kind of dark comedy. It's a very but there's always kind of weird elements going on. There's always kind of like these like maybe horrific things if you actually think about it, like going on at its core. So I like to think that we can bend to wherever we need to go creatively because we're interested in it, not just because we have to, or that we've been pigeonholed into a corner. And one thing with the Gifted series that I give props to Frank all the time for is that it is like a horror series, but it's very much more of a drama series, I would argue,
Oh, you
than
get a novela vibe in there.
yeah,
Yes.
than horror. Like it's definitely horror elements to it because when shit hits the fan, it hits the fan real bad. But it's like but really, it's a drama series. Like The Gifted with Ginger Lynn is very much drama heavy, and then
Mhm.
and Original Sin, and then in even Chica, as you've read the script, is very much family focused drama fueled. But there's always going to be these like horror elements to it, which I love. I really really love, especially this time in my career where I really want to focus more on storytelling and character beats. Like these are the kind of stories I want to tell.
No, and I feel like, what makes this project a little bit special for me is I'm a very proud Latina. I'm of Puerto Rican descent. I'm very proud. And, it is a Hispanic film. So I feel like this is something that society needs. And I think you guys are bringing that impact when it comes to culture, legacy, and like hinting those things um in its own way that the everyone, no matter where in the line or where we're from, Hispanic, if they're from Mexico, South America, the Caribbeans, and to Spain, even some Filipino culture could relate to certain scenes in The Gifted, Original Sin, and Chica La Salvadora, because there's scenes and certain things going on that are relatable, and like you do say, it is drama because it gives a novela vibe. Like straight up, we have a novela
Hmm.
like series, and but then you have your horror, but actually you guys also target things that happen and are currently happening in today that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So it is something that is. And being the fact that we're talking about culture, what do you think, like especially now with this film, what do you think your impact will be on society and like the legacy of Stranger Film?
Well, that's one of these things where people are always going to have their own view on, what culture and impact means and things like that. I think the best thing that we can hope for and strive for in general is just to bring awareness and um to bring the openness, like, to show that our films were never like I think if you watch even from before Chica, before The Gifted, anything like that. If you watch all of our films, you'll see we have always been very diverse in our casting. We've been very diverse with who we work with. So there's never been any sort of shade of like we kind of stay in a lane, and like not saying that people intentionally do that, but I hope that people would see that Strange Films has always been very at least culturally aware of like the beauty in the world and beauty in people and every all genres, shapes and sizes and backgrounds and everything. Like we have always been very open to um bringing people on set and sharing who they are and their cultural backgrounds and things like that. A Tale of Voodoo, which was our last film, it was mainly an Asian cast. We shot in Chinatown, things like that. It's one of those things where we wanted to showcase the Asian community and we wanted to showcase Asian actors and things like that too. And I thought it was a beautiful experience. I think it came out really well. We had a great feedback off of it, and I'm just hoping that Chica can do something very similar with Hispanic. Latino community, especially because we are in the background as well. And I wish I kind of, I mean, I wish I grew up more in that community so I could have more experience, I would say. But if I can at least show something with creatively with some art to share my love and appreciation and that to welcome and to spread awareness or anything like that. I mean, that's hopefully that people can see that in the long run of that we were always at least trying to showcase spotlights around the world, you know, of anything and everyone that we can do and not just stay in a small, you know, lane or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, you know, we'll have to see. Time will tell. I mean, hopefully we do it right, we do it justice, and yeah, at least to a point where it's like a positive thing, you know. I mean, I would if we do something wrong, I'm gonna bury my head.
I don't think you guys are going to do nothing wrong. The script it's amazing. Like I read it. Like I had to read it 2 to 3 times because like the first time I read it, like I read where your dad told me to read. But then I read it full through and I was like, damn, like, hold up, I gotta go back.
Mhm.
Like, because I was like, wait, hold up, what did I miss? I missed
Yeah.
something and I had to go back. And it like the storyline, like honestly, I was getting like SUV slash horror film slash novela. So it was like it hits like everything, but at the same time, it's relatable. It's representation of many things. As a Latina, I could relate to certain things like that we used to hear as a child, the things why families were culturally like that, or like why certain things happen, or like why we were told like, oh, you can't go to sleepovers and crazy shit like
Mhm.
that. Like you sit here and you now are reading a horror script and I'll be like, okay, like, and then, like I said, there are certain lines in there that I've heard growing up. Like even when I lived in Cali for 3 years, like there were lines that like I heard family friends speaking, and it's like, oh shit, like
Mhm.
okay, I got this.
It does help that Frank grew up in California, you know.
Yep, he said it.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's the thing I have to trust with Frank and his, you know, his instinct on a lot of this stuff. I mean, like he really like I know he is tapping into something like that's pure and raw. That's like you really just can't. I mean, you can write, but like something that's coming from experience and things like that. And just because I didn't experience it, doesn't mean it's not, you know, true. So it's like whenever I read his writing, I do the double take too. I'll read it a couple times. And I'm like, okay, because I'm like, I'm really seeing him come through with this script, especially, you know, and I have to trust him on that, and I know it's coming from a very pure place, and I know he's really given this his all with casting and with, you know, setting the right people up and the right, you know, props and aesthetics going into every scene, and he trusts me and my team, my crew, to come up there and do what we can do to visually tell that, I'm really excited and I'm very curious at the same time. You know, it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh man, I feel like this is gonna be like a really humbling but cool learning experience altogether. But yeah, I really I'm excited to see it come to life because I hearing what you just said and along with hearing Frank and
I
his
can't
history.
wait
Yeah.
to see it, to actually see it come to life, because like I says, I think it's me, not as a person just a part of the project, as a person that, loves film and loves I'm a fan's fan. Like I stick to what I know. I think I grew up in the best years. Like I was born right when the 80s were about to end.
Hmm.
Grew up, so like I it's nostalgia for me, but reading something that is so raw and based on like what they seen growing up or culturally wise, I think it's very important for, like I says, whether it's music, artwork, a cartoon, a film, anything, that there is some relatableness to, and the organicness and natural to a piece of art, because
Mhm.
film is art, music is art. These are all arts. And I feel like if a person can't relate to it, then you didn't do your job. Like if you don't give some type of emotion, so
Yeah.
like I literally, like I said, the first time I read it, I was like, "Oh shit, I can relate to her. Hold up, I can relate to Vanessa. Hold up." Not only did
Mhm.
I grew up with a neighbor named Vanessa.
Oh,
Hold up.
yeah.
Like she's like those words have come out of my mouth. So like I was able to relate, and I was like, I know I can play this character. And then then he was like, "Oh, she's the tia." I was like, "I'm a titi. I know how to be I
Nice.
know how to be a titi very well. I got 19 nieces and nephews, buddy. Like,
There you
let's
go.
go."
There you go. Yeah, well, that makes me
You
really
know?
happy to hear. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so I was like, "Okay, I could I haven't even really I haven't even even know how." So I was like, now being a part of it, and seeing and being able to meet everybody, and then seeing, it's probably going to be like deja vu for me, because it's like, oh my god, I've read this and
Mhm.
now I'm seeing it come to life. And then when we finally see the thing, it's going to be like an oh my god moment.
Mhm.
And I forgot who said it. Someone said it, that if you don't tap into some type of, whether it's emotional, a memory, a feeling of some sort, you didn't do your job as a creator. Like somehow, some way, you have to tap that.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are doing that. From I haven't seen Cho yet. Like I want to see Cho, but I haven't got the chance to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
I saw Original Sin. I sat down, I got to watch that
Okay,
one, and
cool.
it was like I was like, "Wait," but, like, it made me wanna go back and watch The Gifted again, and I
Mhm,
went back
mhm,
and watched The Gifted because I had to remember. I was like, "Oh."
mhm.
So it's like, seeing the things, and then, I was like, "Okay, I remember Frank talking about this. I definitely wanna check this out." Because, of course, I like things with curses and paranormal, and
Yeah.
always a priest in it. Some type, some way, someone's getting cursed, something's happening. Come on. I like, my favorite character is Maleficent. She cursed everybody.
Nice, yeah.
So, it's one of those things. So I do have to ask, you know, after this, do we already have another project in the works? What's expected for Stranger Films? Like, what is there? Because I know you mentioned another piece you're working on, and you said that's your personal project.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say there's always projects in the works. I'm it's funny, I think the running joke with Frank is I don't even think he realizes it, but, like, every time he finishes up one of his scripts and we shoot it and we edit it and we get it done and we set premiere, he's like, "That's my last one, I'm done." I'm like, "But you're already
Nah.
setting up the next one, dude. What are you talking about?" Like he has done that so many times that I'm pretty sure he'll say that with Chica. "This is my last one, I'm retiring." I'm like, "No, you're not, dude. I know you got more stories on your belt."
He
Same thing with
probably got
me.
so many stories.
Yeah,
You
me
can
and him, we
you
both
can
have.
tell by the way he writes. He got
Yeah,
stories for days.
the guy already. I know he's already planning for the next one. And
He's
I
probably
have.
cursing us out right now, like, "No, I'm
Yeah.
not. No, I'm not." Like, I'm
Um,
looking at the comment section
he's
just to
already
see if he's typed something.
he's already hinted to me some future stuff. So I mean, between me and him, there's some projects that we're probably going to tap into after this. I mean, and I will say with the ending of Chica, uh, with something that's teased at the very, very, very end of the movie, that's probably where we're gonna go next. So there's always that, and I'd say probably, I mean, by the time we get done shooting like half the movie of Chica, this year, I'll be releasing TV Land likely, at least doing a premiere of it, and because that one's my most personal project to date, I would say it's like I've tapped into something that I can't even like really explain. It's like super, it's something that has been a universal feeling. It's been something that's haunted my dreams. It's been something that's literally eating at my soul every single day. And a lot of that stuff has stuff I've been going through for the last, I would say 10 years, along with the last 2 years, especially, there's been a lot of like really personal things and themes that I've kind of tapped into that I've written into this movie. And so for me, it's like I'm really, really excited because I have to get that out. I can't explain it. I just have to get it out. And I'm really excited to put this project out there because once I do that, I know there's like this on the other side of the door. I've got some other stuff I really, really want to explore. And that I think this TV land and stuff I did with Cho and probably and even Chica coming up has kind of led me to. There's a lot of like kind of was what I was mentioning earlier with the surrealness factor of a lot of stuff of life and characters and things like that and themes I'm trying to explore. I I was just telling my buddy Blake earlier. I'm like I've got this story I really want to talk about. I want to write. I've got this story I really want to do. I've got like a horror film, a crime film, and like another comedy film I'm really wanting to do. So there's like
Oh, so we got some comedy. You see, it's
yeah.
not just horror. You have
Oh
your
yeah, no,
comedy, you have your
I
true
mean,
crime.
yeah, there's a lot of things I really want to explore. We'll just kind of see. I mean, a lot of it's going to be a lot of this is time, of course. You know what, how long things take, and you got to have a lot of patience for this stuff and whatnot. But eventually, I mean, it would be nice to have even just like an independent fan base following to be like, want us to see push more films out quicker because they're just supporting us so much. Whether it's like just convention wise or YouTube or merch or Patreon, anything like that. Cause I have all those stuff set up. But if people were like wanting us to see more, wanting to see more of our stories and we could do it quicker because we're getting that kind of cult following support, as far as indie filmmaking goes. I mean, that would be a great avenue to really throw ourselves
Well,
into
we
because
already
we
know
have so
you have to
much.
make out of all the merch, you got to make the Chica Bell.
Oh, hey, that's a good one. Yeah. Add it to the
Come
list.
on, the bell! Like you
Yeah.
have to. Like
Yeah.
that's automatic merch right there for Chica. Just ding
Yeah.
ding ding ding.
Ding.
I don't think I'll be able to hear that sound anymore.
Right.
Um, so as we get closer, I have to do this rapid fire.
Okay.
So I'm gonna rapid fire uh 5 questions,
Oh God. Okay.
right? And however you answered them. So number one, favorite film of all time.
Favorite film of all time. Man. So oh God, it's always a toss up. But if I'm speaking from my heart, it would probably be It's a Wonderful Life, Frank Capra. That's is it 49, 48, something like that.
Mhm.
Just
That was
because
your
I grew up watching that movie so many times, and that movie makes me cry every single time I watch it. And James Stewart is, I think, one of the most charismatic actors of all time in general. And I think it's another one of ahead of its time movies. The Wizard of Oz would be another alternate, or Chinatown. Roman Polanski's Chinatown with Jack Nicholson. So,
very good movie.
yeah. So that
Gotta love that
movie.
old Jack.
And he's that's one of his more subtle roles that he would ever
Mhm.
that he's on the screen with. Normally he's all crazy and whatever. Like he's very, very subtle in that film.
He was a whole other person in that
Yeah.
film. Okay, one director you studied very closely.
Probably Scorsese, Martin Scorsese, just because I still have so much to take in from him. He has a extensive filmography, but I mean, I really take in like how he fleshes out his characters and how he fleshes out the plots and things like that. And the dialogue, I love dialogue. So it's just like constant.
Oh, it's not even just his dialogue. If you really pay attention, he even does it with the shots,
Oh yeah, definitely.
with the sets, with like
Mm-hmm.
even little objects that you're not expecting, and then like it's like a sudden foreshadow, and here's that
Yeah.
object again. Like he is a storyteller through the script, the clothing, the set, everything, how he chooses his actors, how he goes about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
you
he's one of the most iconic directors of all time, and he
Mhm.
will go down as that. For
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's just incredible. I have like a top 5 directors list, and he's definitely
Oh,
always
we
one
gotta
of them.
hear the top 5.
Well, I would say Scorsese, Paul Thomas Anderson, Billy Wilder, um, probably Christopher Nolan, and John Carpenter for sure. Mhm.
Awesome. So
Mhm.
now I have to ask this. Where would your dream filming location be?
Oh, man. Um, that is a good question. I don't really know a specific place, to be honest, but what I really, really wanna film, like, it's been, like, envisioned in my brain for a long time now, is I really wanna film beach aesthetic vibes. Like, I really wanna film on a beach. So, like, I wanna make a beach movie, doesn't have to be horror. I've actually got, like, a coming of age story I really want to do one day, but it's like it all takes place on a beach. And I just have this like vision where I was like, it'd be so cool to film um at the beachfront, with the whole aesthetic, with the water, the ocean, the daytime, the nighttime, how different that is, like the beach houses. And then, like, if you look down the beachfront and you see that little like fairground, or the carnival looking thing at the end of it, like that those are the kind of
Okay,
vibes I
so
really
we're
want to
getting
film.
like Jersey Shore. I don't know about
Wouldn't quite want to do Jersey Shore, I don't think. I'd
well,
probably
that's the
more
only one
lean.
that has fairground. Like you said
Well, yeah,
fairground, I get AC, Jersey Shore, that's fairground
I
because
went to a
when I
beach
think of
out.
the Cape, there's no fairgrounds
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Cape
Well,
or in like I'm a East Coast girl.
yeah,
I love the Keys. Like New York, we have beaches. Long Island has the
yeah,
nicer
right.
beaches.
Mhm.
And then, Rhode Island has beautiful beaches, especially in
Mhm.
Newport. And then if you go to the Cape, you have beautiful beaches and the houses. And then Maine has beautiful
Oh, I'm
beaches
sure.
as
Yeah.
well. So it's like the East Coast. And then if you want to go down south, of course, they have gorgeous beaches. Oh, wait. Ocean City has fairgrounds, Myrtle Beach. So maybe
Yeah. I
full
and
Myrtle Beach if you want that whole fairground,
Yeah.
or you could go to Cali.
Yeah, well, see, and that's my thing. I don't know exactly where I would do it, but it would be one of those things where if I could
It
find the
just has to be a beach.
opportunity. Yeah, I wanna do a beach film for sure. I just wanna do I mean, and it would be nice if you could, like, if we could go to, like, a beautiful country with a beach side, and, like, do that kind of aesthetic, but if we had all the money in the world. But, I still part of me really, really wants to take a few of my buddies and go on a little road trip and then just take a few gear and just be like, "We're gonna make a movie tonight, dude." It's just like, "We're gonna make a
Like,
movie."
road trip.
Yeah, dude, so it's like, I'm
I listen, we're all for a road trip.
yeah.
Like, you can't go wrong with something like that. You'll probably get, like, some amazing footage and footage that you never thought would even be scripted. Sometimes, like, the non-scripted stuff ends up being, like, movie gold for
Yeah.
all we know.
Mhm.
I think there's also been chatter that the Philippines have been really, really cheap to film in.
Mm.
A lot of people have been going to the Philippines just to film a lot. So maybe that's something to tap into.
No, I do.
Um,
Yeah.
so the next one, number 4, will be one word to describe your creative mindset.
Manic. I mean, I don't know, it's all over the place, man, like, I, uh 'cause I I get insomnia a lot just because I'm, like, my mind's racing with, like, ideas or, like, what I wanna edit next or something, like, I used to I had to really slow down on some things the last couple years because it's just like I would be like that guy who'd be I get an idea in my head. I'm like, "Oh, I can do this." I would already go ahead, start making moves, reaching out to people, like writing something up, I'm like, "Oh, we could do this, we could do that." And I'm like, and then, it's just like, yeah, it's life is you got to really, really know where your projects can land at the right time. So it's like you got to kind of slow down on some of that stuff. So, but when I'm editing, I'm locked in. I'm all over the place. I've got like 4 different tabs up with music and sound effects and this and this. And I've got my editing going. I've got, like I said, I've got journals all over the place with writing in it, ideas. My phone's got different stuff all over the place with different ideas and things like that. And then when I'm talking, a lot of times I got like more. You have like 7 different things in my head, so like I'll start spitting out something else with creatively, So it's manic, but in a good way. Like because I like the creative energy. It's just like I have to kind of figure out where to channel it sometimes and focus on one thing at a time sometimes.
Listen,
Maybe it's just ADHD, I don't know.
uh, who knows? Like that, like you're describing. I was like, oh, that sounds like my computer screen. I have like five
Yeah,
different.
oh my gosh. My computer tabs are, like, insane. I'm like, "Okay, I just gotta close those."
Even with work, like I'll have my assistants come up to me and they'll be like, "Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Sure." And I'm like drafting a motion, doing something else, watching a true crime or something, and like one earbud answering their question. But like that's how our brains work. When I feel like that's normal for us creatives. There's even been times like I've gone to sleep and I feel like I'm awake because my brain is like coming up with all these ideas.
Mhm.
So I understand it. I don't know if I should ask the fifth question because you kind of answered it. It was like coffee
Okay.
or late night editing session.
Coffee or late night editing session? Oh,
Like
man.
which
Well,
one?
yeah, I like my late night editing sessions, to be honest. I mean,
Listen, I've written the best papers at like
yeah,
3 in the morning. I
I've
don't know
done
what it
some
is.
I've done some of my best work from, like, 12 at night to 3 in the morning, and I'll go to bed so satisfied. I'm like, "Man, I nailed it. I am on it. I have really got it." Like, but, I'm a like, I have to have coffee in the morning, like, otherwise I'm, like,
Oh,
it
we're
throws the
nasty.
whole day off. Yeah.
We're
So,
nasty. If I
uh
don't have some type of caffeine, I am like sheer devil. Like even my son has come to be like, "You need coffee now."
yeah, yeah, I'm like, I need it before I even think about doing anything, before I take my son to school, anything. I gotta get my day going with a cup of coffee. But, my cup of coffee has turned into just a necessary, like, quick element versus a, let me sit down with a cup of coffee and, like, check my stuff and writing." It's a quick just, like, and then
It's a
go.
support. It's a support thing.
Yeah. So, I because when I before I had, my son years ago, I was, kinda kinda early stages of Strange Films too. I had a great morning routine where I'd make a cup of coffee and I'd sit on my desk, I'd check my emails, I would do some writing, I would set some things up in the day. I mean, I'd spent like an hour just on my desk, like really vibing, really vibing. It'd be my
What
favorite
world
thing.
was
I
this?
know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, where'd that guy go? Like, where is this? I can't do that anymore. There's no way. I
I
won't.
I listen, I maybe it was the life I live, but I've never had like I get up a coffee. No, it's like grab coffee or go to Starbucks, get your coffee or go to the bodega and get I don't for some reason listen, I love my Starbucks. I am a Starbucks girl. I have my especially like when it's like refresher season, it's like really really hot and humid here in the city, but there's something about bodega coffee that, like, it
Mhm.
just hits different. Like,
Mhm.
it's a whole lot different, and it is just, like, I could write, like, 20 motions after that bodega coffee.
Right.
Like like, the only time I probably can say, like, I have that moment is just waiting in line to order my
Oh, yeah.
Starbucks, pick up my Starbucks, but
Yeah.
there is no, like, movie that's like a movie scene, like,
Yeah,
where
I
you
used to, like
drive.
yeah, I used to bartend at night, so, before I had any huge responsibilities, I would just, like I had the whole, like, kinda morning and afternoon to do whatever I need to do in the day. So, I would wake up at, like, 8 or 9 or whatever, and I'd drink my coffee at my desk, and I'd be, like, listening to some music, listen to jazz, I'll do my emails, I would, like I had a whole vibe every day, it was like that, and it was, like, some of my most productive work started out in the day, and I really, really sometimes I'm, like, so nostalgic for that. I'm like, "Where did that go? I can't do that anymore," but now I have to cram everything at night, and I'm, like, half asleep, like, "Ugh." Like, but
So I've always been a night person since I was a
yeah.
little kid. I've always been a night person, and I've been that kid that, like, I've tried to get up, especially, like, during your college years. Um, I could never take a class earlier than 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, I remember I had to take a global studies class at, like, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not fucking doing this shit." Like, who gives a shit about this? Like, why is this mandatory? Like, I have a Regents diploma. I shouldn't have to take this class, but I had to take it because it was a requirement. All my classes were literally 6 p.m. on. Literally 6 p.m. on. Like late at night classes. That was my active hours. Even to this day, like I do get up early because I'm a mom. I
Mhm.
have to get up early. So like my day is not even like my day. It's starting their day to then
Mhm.
start my day. Like my day doesn't really start until 9, 10 o'clock. And I really don't really physically, my brain doesn't wake up unless I have some coffee or one of my energy drinks, whether it's a Celsius or Bloom, whatever I feel.
Mhm.
Uh I can't comprehend. But when it comes to nighttime, I'm like this freaking witchery. I don't know if it's the witching hour or something, but the moment the sun sets and the moon rises, I'm like, I could do a million things. I'm drawing, I'm creating something, or I'll be like, I'm coming up with a new mix and I'll freaking throw my setup and
Nice.
remix something. Or like I'll start editing like as much footage as I can. Like I'll bang everything out. And next thing you know, it's like 3 in the morning. And I was like, where did time go?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
remember one time I've done like right now I have 5 videos waiting for me to edit. Um, wait, no. Yeah, 5. No, 4. 4 videos. 2 are from a convention, 1 is from an event I went to, and then a food review that I just did at a with a friend. So I have to edit all those videos, but prior to that I had like 10 videos to edit. And then it was like I was chilling watching TV and then like there's like nothing else to watch. I decided to throw Pokemon on, banged out half of the videos just sitting there.
Hell
And
yeah.
it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock, or like ten
Yeah.
o'clock at night. The kids are like in their rooms, they're not bothering me, and just bang out a whole bunch of videos. Boom, 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 boom. And next thing you know, I look at it, it's like Pokemon's still going, and it's like 2 in the morning. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but I feel wide awake. Morning person, I am not a morning person. I have to have my coffee. My kid calls my coffee my support thing. There has even been one time that like he says it and I just give him a look and he's like, "Oh yeah, you need coffee.
Mhm.
Go that way, you
At
need
least he
coffee."
knows.
He's 15, he learned.
Oh, yeah.
he's he's become a character. I have to say like being having a 15-year-old and like he wants to get into animation, so like seeing him go through his creative process, seeing him help create my cosplay, like he's helping me do my 3D prints and all those things, and it's really really cool to see him develop and get into this and go through this whole process and finding himself, finding his creativity. Now he's getting into writing and he's been bothering me for 3 days. Mom, I need you to prove it. I'm like, oh, give me a second. I am working.
Yeah.
So we have before closing, we have a big thing challenge we created with the poisonous challenge. And it's always the poisonous challenge. So this
Okay.
challenge is going to be whatever challenge you could come up with for the beasties, whether it's writing or creating their little short reel, whatever you want to come up with, it has to be their challenge. And we're going to call it the Stranger Films Challenge. And we're going to ask people to at us if they do it. Um, so let's come up with a quick challenge, like a small little challenge.
A small little
Challenge
challenge.
peers to indulge in the creativity.
Mm. I would say a good challenge would be to film something on your phone, uh, whether it's vertical or horizontal. But vertical is usually where people like to scroll at, and film a 1 minute little thing, whether it's like a cool little monologue or that you want to come up with, or like
Okay,
a
so
one
like
minute.
no voiceovers, right? Like them actually doing a monologue or something.
Yeah, like a 1 minute, no cut, no take, like just a
Okay.
1 minute raw like thing that
No,
you could film, like
no
no
ad libs,
cut. No,
no ad libs,
I mean,
no
you could come up with beforehand, like, come up with what you wanna
no, no, no. I
say.
mean, you know how like people are like their new thing is to like take these voices and they like sit there and mouth them and
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
pull the
yeah.
drag queen thing. I call it the drag queen. Everyone's being
No,
a drag queen right now. You're lip syncing people.
no, 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 no. I would
So
say
and
come up with your own original or even recreate, like, a scene or something that you like a dialogue that you like, but, no, like, talking over like a dialogue, but like you either having
You
you do it.
actually speaking a dialogue.
Yeah, or having a friend who does it, like an actor friend or something like that. But like having someone on camera and film a 1 minute uh like short little film or something, like a take, like a something, a 1 minute, no cuts.
I think I could add to this. I remember in one of my improv classes when I was a kid, like so many years ago, and I had to take an improv class. My improv teacher actually made us take one of her favorite songs and do it as a monologue. So
Mm.
here we go. You can take a verse from a song. This is we're gonna do the one film yourself 1 minute, vertical or horizontal, whatever you guys want. So the Poisonous Challenge Stranger Films edition is 1 minute, film yourself, whether it is recreate a movie scene, a dialogue from a movie or a TV show, or turn a verse from your favorite verse from a song into a monologue. Let's do that one.
I think that's cool. I like that.
And then
Mhm.
just at us at Stranger Films or Chris Valkyrie. And I'm interested to see how many people will take
I think that'd be
this. Will
cool.
be, I think it would be awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So before we close this off, like what events? Because I know you guys are making your appearances, especially with everything coming on. What events do you have coming up?
Oh man. So Frank is going to be attending. Is it the Black Ink event coming up in May 16th, I think, or May
So
5th?
yes, he will be at halfway to Halloween with
That's
Black
what it
Ink
is. Yeah.
events. I don't think
So
he's going to be at AlterCon, so
okay,
I won't
so
get to see him.
the halfway
Um,
to Halloween event, Strange Films will be there. I think our friend Miss Gingerlyn Allen will be there.
mhm.
Um, So I know he's really looking forward to that. He'll have a Strange Films booth over there, so you guys can go say hi and meet Frank and get to know him and things like that too.
And
I
I think he's also going to be at Pop. I don't recall. Pop is
Yeah,
in July.
yeah, he did say there's like a second event, so that might be it right there too. I know he's booking some stuff up for like the year up there. I don't really have any like big events coming up down here as of right now. I kind of stay busy with kiddo and projects when I can, and then I've got a podcast I do every week, so I kind of stay. That's kind of where
Oh,
I
let's hear about this podcast. We're here
yeah.
to hear you. Like, come on, we're gonna
Yeah,
have to
you
hear
can,
about it.
if you want to keep up with at least me and what my thoughts are, and I do talk a lot of behind the scenes with Strange Films, especially with TV Land coming up and Chica coming up and things like that. Basically, anytime we were filming or talking about filming, we do a podcast. Me and my buddy Blake. It's called Reel to Reel Podcast. It's REEL and then TO, and then REAL. So Reel to Reel, basically because we talk movies and we're filmmakers and we kind of blend the real life stuff with movies in general and how we basically kind of break down movies like every week along with talking about life and kind of our own experiences as filmmakers and things like that. So we're pretty much discussing all kinds of stuff like every week, and we kind of really showcase ourselves and like what's going on in our personal lives and things like that and our film journeys and what we're up to. So it's a lot of fun. I learned so much about movies because of Blake, because he's like a movie guru, and I think we just have like really a really cool balance between the both of us. So I'm usually doing that every week that you guys could check out. We have our Instagram, Real to Real Podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all that good stuff. And so I might pop in an event if I can. Right now, Frank is kind of doing some of the events right now, and I'm looking forward to come up to Philly in July to start filming some Chica.
Yeah, with that is going to be very fun and interesting. I can't wait. So I will be at AlterCon this weekend with Black Ink, which is paranormal horror con. And then Frank will be at halfway to Halloween. All of them are in Atlantic City, all three. Halfway to Halloween, which is May 16th. Unfortunately, I won't be there because it's my princess's weekend and we're doing her a little party, so I will be going crazy doing mommy things.
Fair enough.
Um And then Popped is in July, which is another event. And I believe he's appearing for that event as well. You guys could definitely go to blackinkevents.com or Black Ink on Instagram, Black Ink Events, and you could find us. And then obviously you got to follow August, you have to follow Frank, and absolutely got to follow Stranger Films. So other than that, I think now it's just Chica.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all about Chica. It's gonna be a Chica summer.
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
Can't
I'm
come up
gearing
with
up.
another
I'm
thing
already
this summer.
yeah. It's
You
already
guys-
taken a lot of my extra creative time recently based around our promotion and Kickstarter and all that stuff. It's all good stuff because it's our main project that we're pushing right now. But Chica this summer, I'm really really looking forward to coming back up to Philly. I have so many people up there that I love dearly, and I'm excited to work with and excited to meet and hang out with for the first time and things like that too. So it's going to be a really really cool week when I come up there, and it will just be the start of what's to come. So
So the last thing, other than the following and stuff, um, my last question, I have to ask this question,
okay.
especially for the creatives. I always have to ask something for the younger generations or the late bloomers or any creatives that are self-doubting themselves. What would you feel, or what would you tell them, to be exact? Let me reword this, and my brain is like going um what would you tell those creatives who are watching this, who feel like they're overlooked or underestimated? What would your advice to them be?
My advice would basically just to simply put it, you got to follow your heart. You got to follow what speaks to you. So if you're a creative and you have something that you want to pursue or explore, try, um, whether that's film, music, art, anything, it's best to let that out and explore it in the most honest way you possibly can and not worry about exactly how people are going to perceive it or where it stands in the world and things like that. It's because it's not really about that. I mean, it's about fulfilling your own personal journey as an artist, because at the end of the day, you're an artist and you'll have that's something you need to release, and it will go it'll be a part of the world, and the world needs art. The world needs beauty and love and all these things. So when you put yourself out there and you do it honestly, and if you are striving to get people to see it or view it and things like that, it's one of those things that what I remind myself is that, knock on wood, I hope I live here a very very long time, but after it's all said and done in this life, my art will exist beyond me. So there's kind of like this everlasting effect. There's like this a part of me that will forever exist in the world. My movies will forever stand, just like how you like an actor or a filmmaker or a movie or an artist or a musician, and they have passed away. Well, you're still listening to that music, you're still watching those movies, you're still looking at that actor on screen, and you're like, wow, I mean, it's a timeless feeling. You're like, oh my gosh, it's one of those things that gives you comfort. It's one of those things that you're curious about. So, your art as a creative will forever be a part of the world, and I think that's pretty cool. I really like to believe that, you know, um, if people get on, follow me as a filmmaker, or they discover me later and they're like, oh wow, that's a cool little, it's something that it can kind of explore and see that's like forever there. So and I do think it's just important to just to put things out and be honest about that kind of stuff. I mean, um like I said, the world is we need a lot of beauty and fun things in the world, and art is one of those avenues that anybody can connect with, and bond over and stuff like that. So, you know, what's it? Just
This
do it.
is so
Just do
awesome.
it.
Thank you, August, for blessing the Poisonous Daily. BCs, please make sure you go follow him and Stranger Film. And other than that, look out for Chica. Like,
Chica,
he's
Chica La
coming.
Salvadora. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. I appreciate the time. It was a
anytime.
blast.
I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to working with you guys. And this was so awesome. So, BCs, please make sure you follow them. They're obviously going to be tagged on everything. And stay tuned for more. Bye, guys. Where's my thing? There we go.
Yeah. There it is.